Yeah. Well, actually, I realized after we came up with these points that there's one that we missed, which is just open sourcing rigs, and I'd like to do that by the next town hall, so within the next couple of weeks. But basically, if Aaron was here, he's not, but maybe next town hall we can put him up on stage to talk about all the rendering and everything. We have this really cool CLI basically to generate rigs, and it can spit out all the different stats about the different runs you can do. You can generate like 20,000 rigs or 500 rigs, and it basically pulls data from Tableland and uses all the different parts tables and the layers, and everything like that. And I think it is actually a really valuable set of tooling that we thought about like, oh, maybe we could make this generic tool for making an NFT, and perhaps that's something that we could explore later. But we're just going to open source rigs by itself, with all its kind of like details about that specific project. So you can set like, what traits you want to be more rare and all that kind of stuff. And the way it works with SQL is awesome because it lets you design your tables using a local SQLite table or multiple tables. And then you basically flip over to Tableland, and it will persist that to Tableland, and it will sync all your layers and everything to IPFS. And when you actually do the rendering, it will push the images to IPFS as well. Like you can set your pinning API and everything. So it's super full featured, and Aaron went just nuts on it and added a full featured CLI to it and everything. So it's pretty fun. That'll be fun to share.
Oh,
But yeah,
can I say the next one? Oh, can I say something about the next one before you go
yeah,
into it? Which is basically, I just wanted to point out that we mentioned the garage and this thing that's inspired a lot by the proof moonbirds nesting, and I just want to say everybody's been thinking about it backwards, which is kind of cool. And technically, today everybody's in the garage, so there's a bit of a flip here that we're going to talk about. But everybody's been thinking about it backwards. That's all I wanted to mention, and that we're going to give you the tool to take your rig out of the garage, which is, I don't know,
yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, take it away.
yeah. I mean, being in the garage is not as fun as flying around.
Totally.
So it's and then we can do other cool thing. Like the rigs, the whole lore of the rigs is that they're out there building, kind of rebuilding like the decentralized, the web that was kind of re-centralized when the singularity happened and all that stuff. So yeah, they have to be doing stuff in the world. So yeah, but the garage is where you can do some other things we'll get into later. So it does still play a role. Like sometimes you might want to go back to the garage. So let's see. Yeah, in mid-September, we're basically going to open the door to the garage, so let you take your rig out and start flying around. And part of that concept is a pilot, and we're going to start with a default pilot, and you'll be able to measure like how much time, how many blocks have gone by that you've been in flight. And then later, we'll get to this later, we're going to release the ability to customize your pilot. So this is something that I've talked about before, I think with Kevin and maybe on the Nooch podcast, this concept of piloting. But before that, the next thing we're going to dive into, so like mid-October, about a month after we open the doors, is the first just sort of fun, like non-token based rewards. So the idea there is that you'll be able to get a badge that will indicate that you're flying around, and then we'll do some fun like kind of swag sort of thing. So nothing crazy, but just something fun. And then soon after that, we're going to get in deeper into some of the more fun stuff that actually tied to our network, so our testnet network. So the ability to actually stake your rig and participate in securing the network. So we'll share more about that. But you'll need to be out of the garage to do that. And I know like we got a bunch of Moonbirds in, and what they did when they did the garaging was they made it so that, if your Moonbird is listed, then they'll unnest it and that kind of thing. So we'll be taking some feedback from them on why they did that and not just like prevent transfers and everything, but it has a bunch of little things to figure out there. And then, mid-November, we're going to do the first badging. So this is where any in-flight rig will be eligible for badges. We're going to do a mix of automated and community-driven badges. So we'll have a voting system to earn badges. This is sort of like the subjective ones. And then the automated ones will be able to, if the badge is driven by like on-chain state or Tableland data, we can automatically issue the badges. And the cool thing about badges is they transfer with the rig. So you can build up a rig with badges and be able to kind of like add value to it in that way. That concept gets really cool with the pilots, I think, because you can do this thing where you can set a custom pilot. We're starting with the default one just because it doesn't make sense to be piloting a rig without a pilot, and we want to do a lot of this other stuff before we can get to the custom rig pilots. But the custom rig pilots, I think, is where some of this stuff really shines, like the fingerprinting idea. So basically, if you have an NFT that you love, you can pilot with that one. And then if you sell your rig, that pilot is like locked to the rig in the rig's history. Someone else can set a new pilot, but it's just kind of always in there and available to be used. Like if you go back to the garage and switch pilots, you could use a squiggle from somebody that was a previous rig owner. So you kind of build up this history, and I'm super pumped to explore some of the interesting concepts there. And let's see. Yeah, that was kind of a ramble, but got anything to add, Andrew?
No, I think that's it. I mean, that's the 2022 roadmap. So, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about all of it. The flight time rewards, I'm pretty fun. I think that's gonna be pretty fun getting creative there. And we have the first couple planned out, and then we'll do more exciting things. And then, I think just getting people out of the garage is gonna be pretty cool. So